I am Donald. I am 22 years old. I waited for this day for many years. I saved small money day by day for one simple dream. I wanted to visit Narendra Modi Stadium and watch a real cricket match. It sounds small, but for me, it was everything. My dream was inside that stadium, but I almost couldn't get in. I remember how it started. I was a boy sitting in a small room. I watched cricket on an old screen. The sound was not clear, the picture was not bright, but my heart was full. I saw the big stadiums, I saw the crowd, I saw the lights. I wanted to be there. I wanted to feel the sound. I wanted to be one voice in that sea of people. I did not have much money. My family lived a simple life. We counted every expense. So I made a quiet promise to myself. I would save. I would not rush. I would wait. Every week, I kept a little money in a small box. Sometimes it was just coins. Sometimes I skipped snacks. Sometimes I walked instead of taking a ride. It was slow. It was very slow. But the box slowly became heavy. I never told many people. It was my secret, my quiet dream. My daily life was simple. I woke up early, I went to work, I sat at a small desk, I did the same tasks again and again. I came home tired, I ate, I slept. And then I woke up again. Days looked the same, but inside me, something was growing. Sometimes, at night, I opened the box. I counted the money. I smiled. It was not a big smile. It was a small, quiet smile. But it was real. There was one person who slowly became part of this journey. His name was Lucas. He worked near my desk. He was calm. He did not talk too much, but he noticed things. One day, he saw me counting coins during lunch. He asked, "What are you saving for?" I felt shy. I closed the box quickly. I said, "Nothing special." He did not push. He just nodded. That was his way. Days passed. Weeks passed. Then one evening, I was watching a cricket match again. I saw Narendra Modi Stadium on the screen. It was full of people. The lights were bright. The sound was strong. My chest felt tight. The next day, I told Lucas. I said, "I want to go there one day. I have been saving for years." He looked at me for a moment, then he smiled a little. He said, "That's a good dream." That was all, but his words stayed with me. After some more months, I finally had enough money. I checked many times. I counted again and again. I was afraid to believe it, but it was true. I could go. I bought the ticket online. My hands were shaking. I checked the details many times. The date, the seat, the time, everything had to be right. When the ticket was confirmed, I sat still for a long time. I did not shout. I did not jump. I just sat there. My dream was now real. The days before the trip felt slow, very slow. I kept thinking about the stadium. I imagined the walk to the gate. I imagined the sound. I imagined my seat. Lucas noticed my silence. He asked, "You look different." I said, "I got the ticket." He nodded again. He said, "You will remember that day for a long time." I think he was right. The day finally came. I woke up early. I did not sleep much the night before. My mind was full. My heart was fast. I dressed carefully. I checked my pocket again and again. Ticket, wallet, phone. Everything was there. I told myself, today is the day. The journey was long. I sat by the window. I watched the road. People came and went. I tried to stay calm, but I could not. My hands were cold. My chest felt tight. When I reached the city, everything felt bigger. The roads were busy. The air felt different. There were many people wearing cricket shirts. I felt like I was part of something larger. Then I saw it. The stadium. Narendra Modi Stadium stood in front of me. It was bigger than I imagined. Much bigger. I stopped walking. I just stood there. My eyes felt heavy, not with sleep, with feeling. I had seen it on a screen for years. Now it was real. It was in front of me. I whispered to myself, I made it. But I was still outside. I walked closer. The crowd was growing. There were long lines. People were talking. Some were laughing. Some looked tired. Some looked excited. I joined a line. It was long. Very long. At first, I did not mind. I was happy just to be there. I looked around. I watched people. I listened to the sounds. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. The line moved slowly. Very slowly. My feet started to hurt. My back felt stiff. The sun was warm. My excitement slowly turned into something else. I checked my pocket again. Ticket, wallet, phone. Everything was there. I told myself to be patient. After some time, I reached closer to the gate. I could see the entrance now. I could see security checking tickets. I could see people going inside. Every time someone entered, my heart moved with them. Then, something happened. A man in front of me was stopped. His ticket had a problem. He argued with the staff. His voice became loud. The staff stayed calm. The line stopped moving. My chest felt tight again. I looked at my ticket. I checked it again and again. What if something was wrong? The thought stayed in my mind. It did not leave. The line moved again, but slower now. People were more serious. Less talking, more checking. I moved forward step by step. Then it was almost my turn. I reached into my pocket. My hand stopped. My wallet was not there. I froze. I checked the other pocket. Nothing. I checked my bag. Nothing. My breath became short. My hands started to shake. No, I whispered. No, no. I moved out of the line. I stepped to the side. I checked everything again. Slowly this time. Ticket. Phone. But no wallet. My mind went back. I tried to remember. When did I last see it? On the bus? At the shop? On the road? I could not remember. My chest felt heavy. The ticket was on my phone, yes, but I needed my ID. I needed the wallet. People kept walking past me. The line kept moving. The gate was right there, and I was standing outside. So close, but not inside. I sat down on a low wall. My hands were cold now. My dream was right in front of me, but it felt far again. I looked at the stadium. I could hear the sound from inside. The crowd was alive. I had waited for years, and now I did not know what to do. I took a deep breath. I stood up slowly. I told myself, think. Just think. But my mind felt empty. Everything felt quiet inside me, even with all the noise around me. I looked at the gate again. My dream is inside, I said quietly. But I am still outside. I stood there for a long time. I did not move. People passed me again and again. Some looked at me. Most did not. Everyone had their own reason to be there. Everyone had their own ticket. Everyone was moving forward, and I was not. I closed my eyes for a moment. I tried to calm my breathing. My chest still felt tight. My hands were still shaking. I told myself, "You did not come all this way to stop here." But I did not know what step to take. I walked slowly away from the gate. Not too far, just enough to think. I stood near a small fence. I watched the crowd from a distance now. The sound of the stadium was still strong. It felt close. It felt painful. I checked my pockets again. I knew the wallet was not there, but I still checked, again and again, like maybe it would appear this time. It did not. I tried to remember the last place I used it. I saw small pictures in my mind: the bus seat, the small shop where I bought water, the road where I walked. Everything felt unclear. I took out my phone. My hands were slow now. I opened my messages. I looked at my ticket again. It was still there. My seat was still waiting. But I was not there. I felt something inside me start to fall. Not fast, not loud, just slow. Like something I built for years was becoming weak. I sat down again. This time, I did not look at the gate. I looked at the ground. Small stones, dust, shoes passing by. I thought about all those days I saved money, every coin, every small choice, every time I said no to something I wanted, all for this one day. And now I was outside. I felt tired, not just in my body, in my mind too. Then I heard a voice. "Hey." I looked up. It was a man standing near me. He looked around my age, maybe a little older. His face was calm. He asked, "Are you okay?" I nodded quickly. Yes, but my voice was weak. He did not leave. He stood there for a moment. Then he sat down beside me. "You don't look okay," he said. I stayed silent. I did not want to talk. I did not want to explain. It felt too heavy. But then I looked at the stadium again, and the words came out. "I lost my wallet," I said. He nodded slowly. "Before the gate?" he asked. "Yes." "And you have your ticket?" "It's on my phone." "And your ID?" I shook my head. He looked at me for a few seconds, not in a strange way, just calm, just thinking. Then he said, "Let's try something." I looked at him. He stood up and said, "Come." I followed him slowly. My steps were unsure. I did not know what he planned. We walked toward a smaller entrance area. There were fewer people there. Some staff members stood near a table. My heart started to beat faster again. I did not want to hope too much. The man spoke to one of the staff members. His voice was calm and clear. He explained my situation. He did not rush. He did not make it sound bigger than it was. I stood behind him, quiet, still. The staff member looked at me. "Is that true?" he asked. I nodded. "Yes, I said softly. He asked a few questions, simple ones. My name, my ticket details. I showed him my phone. He looked at the screen for a long moment. Then he looked at me again. "Do you have any other way to confirm your identity?" he asked. I thought. I opened my phone again. I searched slowly. Then I found it, a photo of my ID. I had taken it months ago for something else. My hands were shaking as I showed it to him. He looked at it, then at me, then at the screen again. The moment felt long, very long. I could feel my heartbeat in my chest. Then he nodded. "Okay," he said. "Next time, be more careful." I did not understand at first. Then the other man touched my shoulder lightly. "It means you can go," he said. I felt something inside me open. Not fast, not loud, just quiet. "Thank you," I said. My voice was soft, almost too soft. The staff member gave a small nod. The man beside me smiled a little. I turned toward the gate again. This time, my steps felt different. Slow, careful, but moving forward. When I reached the entrance, I stopped for a second. I looked up. The gate was right in front of me. I took a deep breath. Then I walked in. The sound changed first. It became bigger, stronger, alive. Then the light, then the space. Narendra Modi Stadium opened around me. It was wide, it was bright, it was full of people. I stood still again, but this time I was inside. I looked around slowly. Every seat, every face, every movement. It felt real, more real than I imagined. I walked to my seat. My legs felt light now. My chest felt open. When I sat down, I did not look at the field right away. I just sat. I let the moment stay. I placed my hands on my knees. They were still a little cold, but my heart was warm. After a moment, I looked up. The players were on the field. The crowd was loud. The game was starting. I watched everything, but something had changed inside me. It was not just about the game anymore. It was about the path to this seat, the waiting, the saving, the fear, the loss, and then the small help from a stranger. I thought about the man who helped me. I looked around, but I could not see him. Maybe he was already in his seat. Maybe he was somewhere in the crowd. Or maybe he was just someone who came and left quietly, like a small light. The match continued. People shouted, people laughed. I smiled too. I clapped, I followed the game, but sometimes I just sat still and looked around. I felt grateful, not in a big way, in a quiet way. I understood something simple. For years, I thought my dream was only about entering the stadium, only about the seat, the game, the sound. But that day showed me something else. The dream was also about the moments that test you, the moments when you feel close but not inside, the moments when you think you may lose everything, and then you take one more step. The game ended. People started to leave. The noise slowly became soft. I stayed in my seat for a while. I did not want to rush. I looked at the field one last time. Then I stood up. As I walked out, I felt calm, not excited, not tired, just calm. Outside, the air felt different again. The crowd moved away, the lights stayed behind. I walked slowly. My pocket was still empty, but my heart was not. I smiled a little because I understood now. My dream was never just a place. It was a long road that taught me how to keep walking even when the gate feels closed.